Hi, I'm Kathleen Byram, author of Conversations with Donkey, A Bipolar Journey. I'd like to talk to you today about what's it like in a mental ward. Okay, first of all, I want to tell you about my experience with going to the hospital because I tried to choke myself. I wanted to die, and Robin Williams died. That was really shocking. It was shocking. It was shocking, but not surprising, if that makes any sense. It shocked the system, but it did not surprise my mind because I knew that he had issues. He was lovely. But I believe he killed himself by hanging himself or choking himself at a door or something like that. And I had not thought of that possibility of trying to kill myself that way, and so I would wait until nighttime when everything was quiet and my parents might think I was asleep. And I would get something to tie around my neck and on the door so that I could sit in a certain way and cut off my breathing or something. I'm not sure how I thought it was going to work without me resisting. So I found myself doing this, trying this over and over. And I'm not sure what happened because I don't remember these things as well as I used to. But at some point, I became aware fully of the enormity of what I was doing and that something was really wrong. And so I was what do you call it, entered into the hospital, admitted, I'm sorry. I have trouble thinking of simple words. It's not good. So I was admitted into the hospital. The only thing I remember about that particular hospital visit, besides being able to do karaoke, which I think we did, was the nurse kind of rudely made mention of Robin Williams and my comment about him. And I think what was said was, she's trying to be like Robin Williams. I was appalled. I wasn't trying to be like Robin Williams. I got the idea of a way to get rid of myself from him. That's why I mentioned him. Not because I wanted to copy him for whatever bizarre reason. Some people might not understand the difference here. Just suffice it to say that it made me feel like poop. The first place I went to, this was when I cut my wrist. I woke up in the morning with my cut wrist dried up, not bleeding, and mad to be alive. I did not want to be alive. And it occurred to me that it wasn't normal what I was doing, and that I needed help, and I was afraid to ask for it. It took me about an hour of thinking in my room. This was early, before time to go to work. And finally I called them and told them that I had to go to the hospital, and I drove myself to the hospital. I didn't want to wake my family because I was afraid it would cause hysteria or just problems. And I was embarrassed too. I got to the hospital. I had an incident. When I tried to pull in to the driving place, the parking garage, I had a problem with that. I don't remember what the problem was, but I ended up stopping in the middle of the street and having a nervous breakdown in the car. And when it ended, I thought, it's strange that I don't hear any honking, and I looked around, and there were cars sitting there around me, but they weren't moving or honking or yelling. They were waiting. Probably because it was a hospital and they knew that something could be wrong with me, and they were waiting patiently for me. And I finally figured out what to do, and I got into the parking garage, and I kind of wrecked the car pulling in. I got it caught on the bumper, and I had to just leave it and go in. I didn't know what to expect. I had never been to a hospital like that before, especially for myself, that I remember. But that actually does remind me of another situation where I went to the hospital, and I told them I thought I had food poisoning. But first I had to check and see if I was having colitis attack, and I did, and that was that, and the pain stopped after I went to the restroom. I wasn't used to going to the hospital, and I was scared and I was nervous. And I went in there. I didn't have my arm wrapped up. Because it was dried up. It wasn't bleeding. It was kind of deep, but short, like this. Like this. There's a little cut right in there. I've got a little tiny scar where I cut at it. What did I want to say about that? Oh, I got to the hospital and I went in and I told them what I had done. I expected, no telling what I expected. I did not know what to expect. But I was treated so nice. I had nothing to worry about. They took me in and they wrapped me up gently and sewed me up, and that was no problem whatsoever. They probably gave me a little shot or something to numb it. I don't know, but I remember no traumatic feeling about that. That was a simple matter, and they were gentle and kind and wrapped up my arm, I think. And then they had me talk to them, to sit in a room and talk to them about stuff. And I don't remember the questions they asked. And I don't remember if I cried, but there's a good chance I did. And then they went and they put me in a bed in a little room that was like an exam room, sort of, but it had a twin bed in it that I was able to lay in. And there was no one in there to bother me or to make loud noises that would be, obviously upsetting. I don't mean to make it about me when that person is suffering, Here I am apologizing for a person that doesn't exist. So I asked them to please call my parents and tell them where I was. And they said, sure. And I lay there all day from 8 to 4. I lay there, and they were looking for a place to send me, and I guess it just took a long time because I kept waiting for my parents and my family to show up, and nobody ever came. And it was very disturbing. And finally, I was talking to them. Maybe I asked them if they had called, and they said, we don't do that. Well, I'm sure that person that told me that wasn't lying. They probably just didn't know any better and got busy and couldn't remember to tell me. But that was disturbing. And so I asked for a phone, and they gave me one and said I could talk as long as I wanted. And I got a hold of Mom. Oh no, it's 13:20 now. I'm going to have to cut this off. I'll talk some more about it in the next video. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.